Right on, Bears fans. Another edition of the Windy City Breeze coming you guys' way. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, a lot to get into on today's episode, so want to kind of jump straight into this. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Drop a bear down in the comments below if you have not done so, because it seems like we may be getting back Rome Odunze sooner than later. Ben Johnson gave an update on the wide receiver today, and he said that, you know, our expectation is that he will be able to contribute this year. Now, Ben Johnson could have said this season, and me and Courtney Cronin talked about this on the Chicago Bears podcast. Does that mean that he could be back for this upcoming game? Because if we're looking at the technicalities of it, right, this year technically ends after the San Francisco 49ers game. Ben Johnson usually is very intentional with his words, very measured with his words. And so I do wonder if that means that Rome Odunze could be back to help this Bears team this upcoming week after dealing with that foot injury for a little while. He has gone from being a week-to-week designation to what feels like a day-to-day designation. And so that's very good moving forward here. I think the biggest thing in all of that, having a conversation, you know, with Courtney on this and off of my own experiences last week in the locker room, the fact that Rome Odunze has been around. Usually when guys are injured and they're going through their rehabs and stuff like that, they kind of keep them away from the media when we're there in an open locker room. Rome Odunze has been sitting in there. He's been talking with us. I got to mention to him to tap into a fire new anime that I've been watching once I found out he watched anime. You know, me and him talk about that every now and then. So it was really good to see that he was in that locker room and you know, still just going through the motions, being with his teammates, enjoying his time there. So usually that is a good sign that a guy is close to coming back. I do wonder if it's going to be this week versus the San Francisco 49ers, because this would be a great week to have him back. You saw the game last night on Monday night. You're going to have a very, very big offensive day, more than likely, to go out there and beat San Fran. With how our defense has played this season and kind of going to this bend but don't break style of defense, I do wonder if there's going to be a little bit higher scores happening here, because listen, eventually it is going to break every now and then. And what we've seen from this offense with Christian McCaffrey, with George Kittle, and how Brock Purdy has been playing since he has returned here, this is an offense that you definitely have to worry about. You saw, now defensively, you could do some things, right? They don't get a ton of pressure on the quarterback. You're able to get rid of the football pretty quickly, especially with this Bears offensive line. I think that there is an advantage for the Bears offensively in this game, but you got to be able to go in there and stop a high-powered offense from getting into the end zone. And that has proven difficult for teams over the past couple of weeks. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. Do you feel like Rome Odunze could possibly play this week? Do you want to see him coming back this early? Or do you want the Bears to kind of, hey, like, just let him get as healthy as possible? Because, listen, like, I'm not mad if he doesn't come back. I do think you need all the help that you can get. But if you don't clinch the division this week, you still have the opportunity in week 18 when you're going up against Detroit here in Chicago. The Bears have been phenomenal at home, coming off a San Francisco game that maybe you get, maybe you don't. If it does go down that way, right, you're still fighting for the number one seed. So being able to have Rome back in that race would be massive in that sense. And I hope that he can get back on the field as fast as possible. But the realities are, right, like I love how Ben Johnson said it before. Sometimes you have to protect the player from himself. We know that Rome wants to play. We saw him do that with DeAndre Swift earlier in the year as well, where it was just like, listen, I know you're trying to play through this, but we don't need you banged up for the future. So I hope that he's able to come back, but I'm not in this mode where I'm like, the division is so important that you've clinched a playoff spot. You want to, you know, avoid the wild card round if you can, win the whole NFC, but you don't want to risk it at the expense of what could be long-term game for Rome Odunze helping this team throughout the playoffs. Let me know, like I said, how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. Some other updates that we did get today on kind of going up into this game and on the opposite side of it, George Kittle possibly dealing with a serious ankle injury here. And I don't know if he is going to be able to go for this Sunday night game here. That's going to be a question to watch out for. And Ben Johnson really pointed out how important the tight end and the running back are to this offense. Of course, Christian McCaffrey, but what George Kittle has been able to do, and he went out with the injury last night in that game. He said he thought it was due to a dirty tackle, a hip drop tackle, if you will. And that was the reason that he ended up getting banged up. he talked as if he was going to be fine there, but we'll see kind of where Kitty is at going through this week. He's so important to allowing Brock Purdy to be able to calm down and be able to always get back to a safety blanket and smooth things over, right? Jawan Jennings has been very big for that offense as well, but we know that Kittle and McCaffrey have really been the leading points for that team. And Ben Johnson praised, he said it's not often that you see a team built around just the tight end and the running game and how dynamic those two are. But listen, if you don't have one of those pieces, it definitely cuts this team in half a little bit offensively, a team that can go out there and put up a ton of points against you. And so if George Kittle is not able to go, that would be massive for this 49ers team. And I think it would be a big win for the Chicago Bears as far as being able to go in and maybe be able to step on, I don't want to say an even playing field, because I think you come in on an even playing field, but maybe defensively having one less thing to worry about, especially kind of with where this defense is at. Yes, you are getting a little bit healthier here, but you still got to worry about guys that can just go out there and dominate you over the middle. And we know that George Kittle is one of those players. He could wreak some havoc for that Bears defense, especially passing the football wise. So I think that to me, and it's with everything he does, right? How he gets involved in the run blocking, how he gets involved in helping set the edge for Christian McCaffrey or being a lead blocker for Christian McCaffrey, right? Like, it goes into everything. George Kittle's an everything tight end. So it would be a massive blow for the 49ers if he's not able to go. But sometimes that's how this season has gone. There have been big names that haven't been on the field for both sides of the ball. And I love how Kevin Byard said this today. It's about a team getting hot at the right time. It feels like this Bears offense is starting to heat up at the right time, and hopefully this defense can maintain some of those takeaways that they've been able to get. Like I said, let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. Be down there talking with you guys as well. The only other news that we got today, some big news. I mean, I'm not going to undersell it here, but you got 3 Chicago Bears selected to the Pro Bowl this year. Drew Dalman, Joe Thuney, and Kevin Byard. All 3 are going to the Pro Bowl. There is a major name missing off of that list that a lot of people are shocked to not see on there. No Deshaun Wright going to the Pro Bowl. This has to be the biggest snub of this season. I mean, he only leads the NFL in interceptions. I don't know how you're picking somebody. Now, I will say this. Am I going to say that Deshaun Wright is the best cornerback in football or is one of the top 4 cornerbacks in football? I'm not there yet, but as far as a takeaway merchant, you can't sit there and say that Deshaun Wright is not an absolute dog. Now, he still could get in as an alternate, and so it could be 4 instead of 1 like we had last season going into the Pro Bowl this year. I don't care as much about the Pro Bowl because I think Deshaun Wright is going to get a very different honor. I think he's going to be an all-pro conversation this year. And because of that, to me, I think that's the bigger thing with adding zeros to that contract if you are Deshaun Wright. Like, I know a lot of Bears fans are hoping we're going to be able to get him back into the building and we're going to be able to re-sign him, but it's going to be incredibly tough. Like, Deshaun Wright is going to command a really pretty penny here this offseason. I would love to get him back into the building, but not at the expense of going out and possibly finding a pass rusher, not at the expense of going out and strengthening this defensive line. I love what he brings to this defense. I would love for him to be here long term, especially with how good Al Harris has been in putting him in a position to go out there and take the football away. But I do look at this as a tough situation here because I think that he is going to be an all-pro this season, and he is going to probably still get alternate rights to go to the Pro Bowl here. And at the end of the day, that's a guy that's going to be, who has been dominant for you this season, that's going to probably continue to be able to go out there now that he has a name for himself and get more opportunity to go after the football. How much are you willing to spend to keep a guy like that in the building, especially when you're talking about having all pros on the team? But we'll see what ends up happening there. At the bottom line, clear snub from the Pro Bowl. Hopefully he gets the all-pro number, and hopefully we're able to keep him here in Chicago. Congratulations to the 3 guys that did get in. I mean, there is no underselling Jonah Jackson. There is no underselling. There is no underselling Drew Dalman. You guys know where we were at last season, I should say. Jonah Jackson, somebody who also could have gotten in. Darnell Wright, somebody who could have gotten in. I don't know how these guys aren't in. Isaac Spillo, of course, didn't have enough time on the field. But when you look at Drew Dalman, you guys know where we were last year. Coleman Shelton falling over his own feet, snapping the football, couldn't snap and block at the same time. Love what we've seen out of Drew Dalman this season. I feel like he's commanded the offense really well. We didn't need a clip of him going viral where he goes, "We got fire, man." Like, he just goes out there, he does his job, and he does it very well. Joe Thuney being there No surprise there at all. We know what he has meant to the Chicago Bears offensive line and what he's meant to this team as a whole. A beautiful, beautiful baller out there. When you talk about somebody who just creates massive holes for your running backs to run through. Love what we've seen from Joe Thuney this season. And of course, Kevin Byard. I mean, like, to me, it's funny to say it for a guy who's on a one-year deal. Of course, Kevin Byard has been here for a couple of years now, but like, he is truly, to me, one of the biggest leaders of this team, not of the defense, just of this team in general. He also got the Jeff Dickerson Award today, the Good Guy Award today. So congratulations to him on that. He does a phenomenal job in the locker room. He does a phenomenal job on the field. He does a phenomenal job leading this team. And he's one of the biggest pieces that, I'll be honest with you, like, there's a lot of people that are probably like, Kevin Byard's getting old, we can move on from him. I don't know, man. Like, he's a big part of the culture that you have built here and the buy-in that you have built here. And I think you're going to need him in the building moving forward. Love the fact that he's gotten back to being a Pro Bowl level player. I think he's somebody who could be getting all pro consideration this season as well. And yet again, right, like, the Bears are going to have some tough decisions to make this offseason to try and keep everybody here. But hopefully they are able to do that. And as we got this San Francisco game, hopefully this team is able to go in there and lock up the NFC North by winning this game. One win over San Francisco or Detroit, and the Chicago Bears win the NFC North. So we're right there. Let's finish out strong. 12-win season at a minimum. Boys would love a 13-win season if you can, though. But hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer. Back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.